Well, welcome to Cross Baltic on the Fight Laugh Feast Network. It's good to be with you, Pastor Toby. I'm the Water Boy, and Knox. Knox is on the road filming with Darren Doan Agency, the Doan Agency, and so it's us. It's us today, and the show is we're actually going to cover kind of everything that Trump is looking like he's going to do in 2025 and in this next presidency. He released a bunch of videos. We've already kind of gone through a couple of them a while ago, but he released a bunch of videos.
I still haven't seen the video about the celebration of the.
We'll bring that up.
We've got that.
Yeah,
one?
we got that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love coming on the show.
Yeah, I love what I'm about to hear on the show.
That's exactly what I was hoping you were going to tell me.
That's why you're tuning in too. So we're actually going to. Part of this is just information I want to know too.
Right.
We're going to go through his picks, who he's picked to be as part of his administration.
There's been a bunch of rumors about who's been picked and who hasn't been picked.
And we might not be able to lay all those rumors quiet, but we've got a lot of them are confirmed, and we'll kind of go through that. Yeah,
absolutely. So like and share the show if you haven't already, please. It's a huge gift to us. If this is a benefit to you, just like it, share it. Maybe tag a few of your friends, a few of your liberal friends maybe. Did you know that optimizing both body and mind will support spiritual growth and can help strengthen the foundations of church, family, and community? It's easy for both the hardcore gym rat and the chair-bound book lover to miss the holistic nature found in wellness of body, mind, and soul. At Mount Athos Performance, we understand that true health integrates physical, mental, and spiritual excellence. Our product line is crafted with purity and sustainability and is designed to fuel your active lifestyle and your pursuit of excellence. Ascend the mountain with Mount Athos Performance. Visit athosperform.com/FLF, athosperform.com/FLF. Use the code FLF25 for an exclusive discount on their products. Join us in creating the next generation of health, strength, and spiritual vitality. Are you a Christian struggling to find companies that align with your values and beliefs? Squirrely Joe's has you covered for all your coffee needs. All their coffee is hand-selected and roasted. Every single bean is just hand-selected and roasted fresh every day by a family of fellow believers. Try them out. You'll savor exceptional coffee while knowing that your investment supports a company committed to following God's teachings and upholding truth and righteousness, ensuring your hard-earned money contributes to the growth of God's kingdom. Stop giving your hard-earned dollars to pagans who support evil. We have a fantastic offer for our listeners. Your first bag of coffee is free. That's awesome. All you have to do is cover the shipping. So head over to squirrelyjoes.com/crosspolitic to claim your free bag of coffee today. Because Squirrely Joe's, they provided all the coffee at the Fight Laugh Feast conference.
They did. It was great.
Yeah. So
they fed 1,500 people a day with coffee.
Man, that's why they were awake.
Yeah, that's why everyone paid attention.
On Saturday, after all that. I mean, it's an intense conference.
Yeah.
That was just great. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah. We actually is our most attended conference to date.
Biggest conference yet.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because it's Texas and everything's bigger
Texas.
in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas. The bowls are bigger. The cups are bigger. Everything's bigger. Conferences are bigger.
And we're going to be in Nashville next year.
We're still working on that because I rented a building that's smaller than what we need for next year, given how many attended the conference this year. So
and he said the kids couldn't come, and the kids revolted.
And they basically fired me.
They're the kids.
Yeah.
They tied him up behind the stage.
So I'm literally trying to find a new building right now for next year.
And they threatened him. Several of the 3-year-olds, they put him in a headlock.
They had Nerf swords and everything. It's scary.
So we're going to get a big enough building for everybody.
Yeah.
Totally.
So stay tuned for that. All right. So first I want to start off just kind of going through some of Trump's picks for his administration. Now, they obviously all these picks have to go through hoops and be voted on and passed.
Have to be confirmed by the Senate, or is this?
I think there's various different confirmation levels as I understand it. Now, Trump also has a card that he can play where if they're
the Trump card.
Every president is if they're not in session.
But he has the Trump card.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The Trump card.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The Trump.
Anyways, okay.
I think when they're not in session, he can actually appoint people when they are actually not in session.
Okay.
And kind of get around the
right. Hey, you weren't here to tell me no. I got business to get done.
I'm still learning what that they're talking. I don't know exactly what that legal,
I don't have my
legalese is. Yeah,
Constitution.
But he's allowed to do it, so I'm still learning the details on that. Okay. But his White House chief of staff is Susie Wiles.
Okay.
Susie Wiles is an OG in the Republican Party, and she ran his campaign this time.
Okay.
So she's now his White House chief of staff.
Okay.
From everything I've heard, actually both sides kind of like her, and by both sides, kind of the establishment GOP and the kind of Trump GOP.
Yeah.
So that's Lee Zeldin. He was the guy. He was the guy that ran for governor in New York.
Okay.
And did pretty good against Hochul. But he's going to be running the EPA.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of like, he's gonna be running the EPA. So let's see what he does with the EPA. I hope he just shuts it down.
Is he gonna put himself out of a job?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Mike Huckabee is ambassador to Israel, which is kind of fun. And Mike Walls, he's the national security advisor. Mike Walls, I don't know much about Mike. The border czar is gonna be Tom Homan, and Tom is legit.
It's really fun when Gabe reads a lot of names.
Homan, Homan, Homan. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You don't know because I'm reading it.
We don't know.
Elise Stephan. There you go. Right in. She's going to be the UN ambassador, and the UN ambassador is an interesting one because you can just go and make fun of commie tyrants.
Is that what she's going to do, though?
Yeah, I'd hope so.
I mean,
I would hope so.
I'm afraid that's not what.
Go around the room. You're a commie. You're a tyrant. That's what I would do.
I would love that.
That'd be my speech.
I'm pretty sure the UN ambassador under the Biden administration has not been doing that.
No.
I'm pretty sure that whoever
they're making deals
has been groveling at the feet of the commies.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what else we know. Trump and actually Governor Kristi Noem looks like he's going to appoint her as the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. So not excited about Kristi Noem because I don't think she's an honest politician in how she handled COVID. So that's my problem. I don't trust her.
No.
I think she's got some conservative leanings or whatever. At least she'll follow Trump. She might just follow Trump's line.
You got to figure that. I mean, for Trump, I mean, a huge part of who he is he is just a deal maker.
Yeah.
And so he everything's kind of personal, which is why you sometimes see him, going after people in a personal way.
Yeah.
And he really values personal loyalty. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's probably a big part of his picks is, are you going to work with me?
Yeah.
And he doesn't want people who have their own plans to run their own thing.
Right.
But yeah, I hear you. No, I'm not excited.
She's not honest. But here's the other thing: the Department of Homeland Security, remember, came out of the Bush administration after the towers fell.
Again, hopefully, are we going to dismantle
TSA?
This? Can we dismantle this?
Homeland Security runs TSA, so it's like all these things. And he put someone over that I don't know if you can be strong because I don't know how honest you are.
Well, I think the hope there would be that somebody radicalizes Trump, and then Trump just tells her, "Get rid of it."
Yep.
And she's a yes woman.
Yep. And then we got it looks like Senator Marco Rubio will be his Secretary of State.
Okay.
I think Marco Rubio is loyal to Trump, but he kind of is to me a tweener between GOP establishment and kind of the GOP side of the Trump.
Yeah, you said
administration.
GOP and GOP.
I love doing that.
Sentence.
I love GOP. I've always said GOP because it's just so funny to me.
But then you said GOP.
I know. I shouldn't have. President-elect. So Trump has also chosen. We already went through that one. Tom Hammond, Wiles, Stephen Miller to be his top immigration advisor. Both Stephen Miller and Tom Homan have been really outspoken about the immigration problem.
Okay,
and they've been as I initially have seen their comments and everything. I agree with their stances, it looks like.
Okay.
Taylor Budowich, a longtime advisor to Trump, he's expected to be named Deputy Chief of Staff of Presidential Personnel and Communications.
Okay. You know who that guy is?
I actually don't.
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
Former SEC Chairman Dick Clayton is among the Attorney General candidates. Oh, interesting. Along with Senator Eric Schmidt. I like Eric Schmidt. Attorney General, man, we need to clean that up. That's the
so those are the potential nominees for AG.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's actually really significant. I mean, we've had what's his name? What's the guy's name? The current AG, Biden AG, that's been going after pro-life. Garland. Eric Garland.
Yeah. Because he was. I don't know if it's Eric.
Merrick. Oh, Merrick.
Merrick. Yeah. Remember, because he was a Supreme Court appointee or nominee that Mitch McConnell killed.
Right.
In an awesome way.
Yeah.
So now
he's been going off of going after our friends, these pro-life people, weaponizing the FBI against them.
That's right.
So this is a pretty huge thing that we really need. We need that cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right. And then here's some fun ones, some real fun ones. Let me get back to that information where I was at. Trump just named our friend Pete Hegseth to Secretary of Defense.
That is
amazing. So if you guys don't know, Pete's a friend of ours. He goes to CREC Church. His kids are in classical Christian school. He was in the army. I don't want to say army. He was in the military. Let's say military because we don't know what branch. I can't remember what branch it was. And he grew up kind of in a quasi-Christian, I think, scenario. Anyways, went through the military, got picked up by Fox and Friends. He's on Fox and Friends for a long time. And kind of through that process, God got a hold of him. Yeah. He repented.
Yeah.
And
we've had him on the show.
We've had him on the show a couple times. But he also, through this whole process of getting right with the Lord, he's like, what do I do with my kids?
Right.
I was living in New Jersey on the border of New York, I think is where he was. Maybe it was New York proper. And our friend David Goodwin had been doing a classical Christian series with him.
Right.
And so David Goodwin said, well, why don't you, there's a couple good Christian classical schools here, and here.
Right.
You can move to one of these places and get your kids in school. So he moved out of New York to put his kids in classical Christian school. So I'm super excited.
No, that's awesome
about Pete.
And so David Goodwin is the president of the ACCS.
Yeah.
He's the Association of Classical Christian Schools, which is like Logos School here in town, was the first ACCS school, I think, or among them. And David Goodwin and Pete Hegseth wrote the book together, Battle for the American Mind,
which is a great book for entering into the classical Christian world.
Right. Yeah.
As parents, processing it.
Yeah. Battle for the American Mind. So so that's really exciting to have the guy who is got his kids in a classical Christian school. He's worshiping in a CREC church.
Yeah.
He's been a spokesperson for recovering classical Christian education and working with the ACCS. And now he's been tapped as the Secretary of Defense.
Come on, Jesus. More of this.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a lot of fun.
That is really fun. Pete, congratulations. And that is awesome.
And then John Ratcliffe.
Pause real quick.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not done yet.
Please.
I'm still celebrating.
Yeah.
Think about the military. Think about this.
I mean, the woke military.
Think about the woke military.
The LGBT commercials.
The DEI. Yeah. The rainbow nonsense.
How many forced vaccinations of special forces my goodness.
That's what I'm we need to think through this. So
wow.
I mean, obviously you've got wars and being careful about how we use military.
That's right.
In wars.
Yep.
But I'm just thinking about cleaning up the military, and you got a guy
our own house
who has repented. Is walking in the light with God, is worshiping at a Reformed church, is thinking really carefully now about classical Christian education for his own kids. And he's now going to be in charge of the United States military under Trump. Please, Lord.
Incredible.
I mean, this is an opportunity to really bring back a real military that's worth being proud of.
That's right.
I mean, the recent administrations have brought our military to a point of,
it's disgusting.
Basically, just shame.
Pulling out of Afghan, killing its own military.
A laughing stock. I mean, we've showed, some of the ads. I mean, the way that they're advertising. I mean, they're basically
pregnant women. You remember that pregnant woman ad for the military? All that stuff.
It's absolutely absurd. And painting a target on our backs, basically saying, "Here, come conquer us." I mean, any nation like Russia or China that actually understands how real wars are fought,
not with pregnant women,
knows that we have been committing suicide. As a nation in our military, and to have Pete Hegseth as the Secretary of Defense.
Well, and all the trans, that's part of all this stuff.
The tranny stuff, the DEI stuff, the woke everywhere. Stuff, the vaccine stuff.
And you think about it, in the 80s and 90s, the military actually played an important role for men who didn't have fathers.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of one of their default places to go is the military. Right. and they would get discipline, they would get scheduled, they would get all these.
I know.
And it was a great place for men who didn't have fathers to go.
No, it totally was. I hope, Davis Younts, if you're not watching, you're listening to this show.
He just texted me. I don't know what he said. But
okay. I hope there's a little bit of a grin on your face as you think about the military members, service members that you've been defending, trying to get justice for
4 years.
I hope that this is a turning point.
Oh man,
for this,
for your efforts.
And Hegseth, needs to clean house.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works exactly, but I suspect that there's some generals that need to retire.
Yeah.
Like now?
Right now?
Yesterday,
Probably
right now.
Without their severance?
At least retire. At least retire. Anyways, I don't know. I'd love to hear what Davis is thinking about that.
That's a great point. Yeah, I should talk to Davis. You can't miss some of these details enough, is what you're saying.
I'm just thinking that this is a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah.
That God is doing. And another, just a really remarkable way in which God is showing real favor to the CREC.
Yeah. A small denomination. We got 100, 150 churches or something?
Yeah, the Community Reformed Evangelical Churches is an international denomination of about 150 churches. We just had Pastor Yuri Brito on the show. The show ran yesterday. Right. And he's the current presiding minister, the lead of our denomination. We are a small Presbyterian denomination that gets along with Baptists.
Yeah.
You're welcome in if you're a 1689er. And we get along with Dutch Reformed. We've got the three forms of unity, and it's this tiny little denomination that's punching way above its weight class.
Yeah, that's right.
Again, you think about think about Douglas Wilson on Tucker.
Yeah.
Think about Joe Rigney writing. I saw Meg Basham today. She was suggesting that to somebody that they buy a copy of Joe Rigney's book, Emotional Leadership and Emotional Sabotage, for all the members of Trump's new staff.
Oh.
Which would be
that'd be amazing,
awesome. But we live in a world where that's not out of the question.
Yeah,
we live in. If he's appointing people like Pete Hegseth, it is. We know other people that have connections with Trump's administration as well.
That's right.
And it is not at all out of the question that there would be a number of boxes of Joe's book bought and distributed to Trump's administration. Yeah. It's not at all out of the question. And again, it's just another one of these odd things where the CREC and related ministries are having outsized impact on our culture and completely undeserved. God's grace.
That's right.
And favor.
That's right. All right. And so the last one I just want to mention here.
Oh, there's only one more?
There's more. There's more, but I don't have.
I took too much time.
This is much of the list. Yeah, and we got that too. John Ratcliffe is a CIA director, and he's based on the little I know about him, he's
ready to torch it.
He knows the mapping of corruption in the CIA.
Man.
So,
we need
God is good all the time.
That is what we need. We need a bunch of reformation.
So I want to now switch gears and kind of talk about Trump's platform. Okay. He's had this up on his website. You can go there. We got a number of videos. We aren't going to go through everything, but he put out his top 20. So his top 20 things here. And the first one, he wants to seal the border, stop migration invasion. Related to that, number 2, he wants to carry out the largest deportation in American history. So those are obviously fixing.
This is in our notes.
It's in our notes.
I'm just curious. Scroll down. You're reading stuff. I want to read it with you.
Yeah, scroll down. It's the capitalized, all cap stuff. Copy to paste it in.
like Trump always writes?
Yeah, that's right. Our notes are like that right now. And so those are obviously fixing things that Biden broke. Yeah. And it's not, I don't think it's fun to be in that situation, to have to deport illegals who came in under a president who allowed them to come in.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Right.
But you got to do that. And then related to that, he's also basically, and this has been part of the problem we've been talking about forever, is he's cutting all illegals off government programs. Which is a no-brainer.
Right, yeah.
End inflation and make America great again and make America affordable again. Excuse me.
How does he plan to end inflation?
I think a couple things. I think one is switching up our taxation system. He wants to get rid of the income tax and start with the...
Is that confirmed? heard that.
He said it. He said it from his mouth.
He's actually
he said that from his mouth.
He wants to do that.
Yeah, he wants to end income tax, and he wants to transition it to
tariffs.
Tariffs, yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Which is apparently, I'm curious about the history of this.
That's how it used to be.
That's how it used to be. That's what I understand. Is that before the income tax, it was the government was supported on tariffs.
And so here's my one thought about the tariff thing: is obviously Americans are going to be paying whoever buys the goods. You're paying for the tariffs, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, do we want income tax or tariffs? So you're going to get taxed one way or another,
right?
But the thing I think I see about tariffs that I'm interested in this transition, if he does it, is that tariffs really do, I think, even out the playing field with other countries who are using slave labor. And stuff like that. And the country's feeling it. And it might actually incentivize more. Yeah. Now, while your TV might go up $100,
right,
but you aren't paying income tax, but you're also incentivizing more manufacturing in the United States.
Yeah, you are doing that. The only thing that I want to keep coming back to is it's not just slave labor that allows them to make things cheaper. There are a whole bunch of government regulations that make manufacturing
in the United States,
yes,
100%,
so hard and expensive.
So this feels like a duct tape, kind of a tape job here.
And I'm an incrementalist.
Yeah.
So would I go for that? Absolutely, I'll go for that to not have income tax.
Yeah.
And for and now it's based on your purchases.
Yeah.
And I'd rather pay the tax that way in the short term.
Yeah.
But I think we also need to recognize the thing that we've really got to do to make America
affordable again,
is we need to slash government regulations on what is allowed for businesses to do, what it costs to start a business.
That's right.
There's way more regulations on businesses. And I think if you slash that, American entrepreneurialism just explodes. People want to start businesses. People want to grow their businesses, but we live in a land that penalizes the small businesses and often is granting special favors to the big businesses. We call it crony capitalism, but there is a lot of crony capitalism in our land.
Bree, do we have a video, or Jacob, do we have a video on this number 3? Inflation and making America affordable again? Doesn't he talk about like housing, all this other stuff too?
Kind of.
That might be.
Yeah, we got one.
We got one.
Yeah, let's play this video. I think he expands on it too. Go ahead.
When I'm back in the White House, I will immediately unleash energy production / regulations.
There we go.
I did just 3 years ago, and repeal Biden's tax hikes to get inflation down as fast as possible, and it will go quickly, so that interest rates can get back under control. I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. In fact, I did it twice when you think about it, and now we will have to do it again. Thank you very much.
Okay,
that's it. There's another. I don't know if we have this video, but he also goes through and how he wants to make housing affordable again. He wants to make purchasing cars affordable again, stuff like that.
Do we have that? No, we don't have that.
We don't have that one.
Okay, but he talks about that. Okay,
but the one concern I have there is, what do you mean make housing affordable to me again?
Right. Well, at least on this one, the video we got.
Yeah.
Slash regulations and slash taxes.
Yeah.
Is a great way to kickstart an economy. All you're doing, it's like I teach an economics class at Logos School. I was just in economics today. I was just trying to describe to them how the government, through regulation and taxation, is picking winners and losers.
Yeah, right.
And what that and it's like, imagine you're in the middle of a race. And like a cross-country race.
I was going to have a metaphor that involves a race too. Go.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then like halfway through the race, the top 15 or the top 20 runners, they suddenly say, okay, in order to finish this race, you have to wear this backpack full of bricks.
Yeah, right.
To the end.
Yeah.
Now, that's what government regulations are. Like,
that's right.
They're saying above 50 employees.
Yeah.
You must do this.
Right.
If you have if you have this much income, you must do this. If you have this big of a footprint of a property,
that's right.
You have to do this.
Yeah.
Here's your bag of bricks.
If you have 50 employees or less, you can do this. 100 employees or more.
But what they're picking winners and losers.
right.
And now what happens is maybe one of those supermen can run to the race and win with the backpack, and sometimes that works. But often what happens is that's going to slow them significantly down.
That's right.
And now the people that can run and actually win, instead of the ones who were going to win.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
name of that is theft.
Yeah.
It's an insidious.
You're stealing from their ability to make more money.
Exactly.
That's right.
You're stealing from their productivity. You're stealing from what they could have had.
Yeah, productivity is a good word.
Had you left them alone. And so that is a form of theft. You've got theft by taxation, overtaxation, but you've also got theft by overregulation.
That's right.
So I love, Trump talking / regulations. I hope we get a lot. And there's a lot of environmental regulations. I don't even know what they are, but some of you small business owners, some of you business owners out there, you know what I'm talking about. There's environmental things. Yeah. There's certain requirements, that ramp up as you hire certain numbers of employees. It's those regulations are what is keeping us from competing on the international market. It's what's driving manufacturing offshore. Yeah. If we want to bring it back home, slash the regulations, people want to make businesses here. Yeah. People want to build businesses in America, but you can't make it impossible to do that with your, you need to, have toilets that are, made out of gold. Yeah. Because, if you flush them too much, it's bad for the environment or whatever it is. Like you've got to make it.
And working with your metaphor too, it's just like as they deregulate, it's taking another brick off your back, another brick off your back. You can start running faster. Right. I mean, think of, but what this deregulation is doing, it means something for 330 million people. Yeah. Right. It's like, it's not just one guy on the race. That actually means something for the consumer. That's why, in our economy is like this, it's pent up from COVID. There's so much happening. So Trump could actually create a booming economy if he does this stuff.
And on the flip side, I was talking about the way that it lands on the winners and then is creating different winners. Like, the people that would have won are now hampered. But notice what all the regulations do to people. Businesses think to themselves, well, I don't want to actually get good. I don't want to actually get big because as soon as I get to that line, whatever it is, that many employees,
I got to be paying this tax or this health coverage insurance or whatever. You just name it.
All those things. It's actually it slows everything down. But if you slash it and you just say, look, it's a free economy. Pay the people whatever they want to work for, provide for their needs. If you do that, you unleash a lot of power.
Well, and I would I can't even hire my 10-year-old son and pay him $5 an hour here at Cross Politics.
Right.
We can't. For one, because minimum wage is not $5 an hour. Right. Number two, it's whatever slave labor or whatever they want to call it. But I'd love to hire my son $5 an hour, clean this room, clean this toilet.
Wouldn't it be glorious?
That'd be great.
Joe Rigney just texted me that the Pete head sec.
The Pete.
We're a little excited over here.
Yeah. That's great.
Anyways, I'm going to read an ad right now. This seems like a good moment to read an ad. Reformation Heritage Books. Want to start reading the Puritans but don't know where to begin? Of course you want to start reading the Puritans. Who doesn't want to start reading the Puritans? You need to read the Puritans. Puritan Treasures for Today from Reformation Heritage Books makes the riches of these godly writers of old accessible for the modern reader. With updated language and helpful introductions, these classic works from John Owen, Jeremiah Burroughs, and more are the perfect starting point for the curious reader. Learn more about the Puritan Treasures for Today at heritagebooks.org/Puritan Treasures. That's heritagebooks.org/Puritan Treasures. Use coupon code FLF for 10% off your order. That's heritagebooks.org/Puritan Treasures and use the coupon code FLF. Again, if you haven't liked or shared the show yet or tagged a few of your friends, please do it now. It's a huge help to us. If this is interesting, if this is fun, if this is helpful for you, like and share this show. I've got one more.
Yeah, go.
Dominion Wealth.
We got to catch up. We've been gone. We've been out of the studio.
Dominion Wealth Strategists. All right, guys, you listen to Cross Politic because you take the Dominion mandate seriously. Unsurprisingly, so does Dominion Wealth Strategists. They will help you build a multi-generational legacy with holistic financial strategies that include budgeting, insurance, debt management, retirement planning, estate planning, and more. Dominion Wealth leverages all corners of the financial services industry as independent brokerage agents, matching you with suitable products and services from dozens of top industry service providers. They educate, advise, and build plans to reduce your donation to Caesar and maximize your gift to God. No matter your tax bracket, they have solutions for every fiscal stage of life and for your children. From baptism to burial, Dominion has you covered. That was the line he tried to get me to say it at the conference or something. He was like, from baptism to burial. And I was like, I don't remember.
That's right. That's right.
Dominion has you covered. Look, I got it, Justin. I got it. Dominion has you covered. Reformed.money. That's the website. Reformed.money. Texting friends over
Davis Younts text me.
We're already talking about you, Davis. We got you.
That's great. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So number 4. So this is number 4. So we only got to number 3 so far out of 20. Number 4, make America the dominant energy producer in the world again. We know he wants to open up drilling. There's all sorts of, not patents. What's the word? Permits that Biden rescinded during his administration for oil drilling, so forth, the Keystone Pipeline, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That one shouldn't be hard because there's already stuff there that Biden killed. You know, it's just like let it happen again.
Yeah,
you know?
Unleash the energy. What does he say? Drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, and he says RFK. He says, "Don't touch my oil. Don't touch my gold."
RFK.
Yeah, stay away from my gold.
You can make us healthy. Yeah. Stay away from the oil.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. Actually, and I like the fact that Trump just says that.
I know. It shows like I'm working with RFK over here, but not over here.
I think, again, we've talked about this before, but I think as weird as this is weird. Like, and there's places where this doesn't apply at all. But there are ways in which Trump embodies what I would call sort of a Catholic spirit. The Christians could learn a lot
Catholic
from.
as in small c Catholic.
Not Roman Catholic, which is which is an oxymoron, by the way, because Catholic means universal and Roman Rome means of Rome. Yeah. So no, I mean Catholic in the universal sense, meaning all true Christians. Yeah. We're on the same team. Yeah. Right. Everybody that loves Jesus, we're on the same team. Right. Do we disagree with each other?
Baptist, Credo Baptist, post-mill, pre-mill. Yeah.
All of it. We're on this, like, we're fundamentally, we believe in the Catholicity of the church. We are one body in Christ. If Christ is in you, we're on the same team. But I like the way that he does that sort of out loud. Good fences make good neighbors. Yeah, right. Good fences make good neighbors, which means I can work with you guys on this, not on that. I don't want to work with you on that, but I want to work with you on this. Yeah. We can do this in defending the unborn. Yeah. Hey guys, is there a rally? Is there let's go. Let's do it. And okay, let's not work together on that part over there.
Yeah. And here's the thing for me is like I have had a massive distrust in our politicians. Since Bush. That was kind of when I started paying attention to things. And so 20 years of distrust in politicians. I just don't trust you. I don't trust my senators in my state. I don't trust my congressmen in my state. I just don't.
I also like the fact that Gabe tells whenever we have politicians on the show, he basically tells them.
Yeah, that's one of my questions almost every time. It's like, I just don't trust you.
That's Gabe's sort of Trump mood. He's like, okay, just so you know, I don't trust you. Yeah. Now, help me out.
Let me ask you some questions. Yeah. And I think that's kind of deserved. Like, I mean, conservatives for decades saying, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And they never do it.
Any honest politician that is offended by that already is by default, I'm like, you don't deserve to be in office.
Yeah. You're missing it.
If you're in office and you're a conservative, you shouldn't be trusted.
That's right.
You have to earn the people's trust. Yeah. You have to prove that you actually mean what you say and you're not just blowing smoke.
So here's what makes me interested about RFK is I think I can trust him on the health stuff. Yeah. He's been talking about it for years. At least he's spent a lot of political capital with his own party.
At least on the COVID vaccines.
That's right.
At least.
That's right. And so I think Trump, the thing is I appreciate about what Trump's doing is he's appointing people that I trust on that issue. Right. Elon Musk, I trust him on getting rid of, I mean, he bought Twitter and he basically got rid of half the company.
Yeah. Was it more than that? Was it like
it was probably more.
80%? I thought I heard 80%. But like, man, if we can downsize.
And made it run more efficiently. Yeah. And made it, and like the development of what they've been able to accomplish since Elon Musk bought it with less staff is incredible, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of looking for in some of these appointees. Obviously, Pete Hegseth's a friend. We trust him. Mike Huckabee on Israel. I don't know how much I trust Mike Huckabee. He'd have to win me over on some things. I trust. I've interviewed Mike Huckabee before.
Bill's laughing over there.
I interviewed Huckabee. He came to Moscow. Yeah. 8 years ago or something.
Oh, you did?
No, 10 years ago. I interviewed him. I met him, shook his hand.
When he was running for president?
Yeah, when he's running for president. Yeah.
In the primaries?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like, I don't even trust Ted Cruz, who's from Texas. You know, it's like, anyways. So that's what I'm looking for in some of these appointees. Maybe I know RFK, he's pro-choice.
Right, I know.
Right?
No, totally.
But he's not going to do anything in that administration.
Stay away from the oil and stay away from the babies.
Exactly.
But,
work on the health.
Yeah, but if you can get us a clear shot to sue Pfizer.
Yeah.
You know, like if we can repeal all the
protections for Pfizer's,
immunities, legal immunities for experimenting on the American people.
That's right.
I'll take it, RFK.
Okay, number 6, large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. So we've known about that for a while.
Tax cuts for workers.
Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. So just basically First and Second Amendment stuff. And those are stuff that the reason I trust Trump on this is because that's what's happened to him.
Yeah. On the free speech stuff.
On the free speech stuff, right? Yeah. That's exactly what's happened to him. And so he's been canceled. He's been attacked. You know, his First Amendment liberties have been attacked. Remember, January of 2020, they killed his presidential Twitter account. Twitter did.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So it's real.
Yeah.
And that's why he started True Social.
Right. And Elon, of course, is really big on this as well.
Yeah.
Elon is very big on free speech.
So high confidence something there is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Number 8, prevent World War III.
I love that.
Restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America.
Yeah.
I have no problem with us building defense.
Seems like it seems like what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you have the right to defend your country, right?
One of the few things that governments are supposed to do.
But the Ukraine-Russian war, the one thing that's clear to me about that war is that has been a war used to politically enrich our politicians.
Yeah.
It's just all about funding, and that funding going to a corrupt country and somehow making its way back to our politicians. That's
has somebody traced that? I bet. I believe that.
Yeah.
It would take 2 cents for me to believe that.
Yeah. Right.
But I wonder if somebody's doing that work.
I'm sure we could dig into that and figure out more details. I'm pretty sure.
Meg Basham.
I know. Yeah. If we had a real journalist, which we will, January 1st.
All right.
And maybe that's a good thing. We can put one of our investigative journalists on.
Crosspoliticnews.com.
Yeah. Crosspoliticnews.com.
Okay.
We're launching January 1st. We already have about 10 journalists already joining us, and we're gonna.
If you're one of those journalists,
get on it now. Just freaking get on it now.
Love to have that. Love to have that. Okay, what's number 9?
Number 8. Oh, no, number 9.
We already
the weaponization of government against the American people. Again.
End it.
Hands down.
End it. End the weaponization.
End it.
We're going to weaponize the government.
We're going to increase the we're going to end the weaponization. Of course, again, obviously we have friends all
J6.
Yep, J6.
Pro-life. What else?
I mean, there's so many.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah, those are the big ones. But there's just been a number of one. One guy, a free speech guy.
Yeah.
Remember when I think it was in Hillary's.
Oh, he shared a meme.
About not voting. Hey, liberals, you vote on Thursday when the real voting was on Tuesday or something like
and
that.
He got convicted of
he got convicted on that.
Is he in prison?
I think so.
I hope Trump is planning a mass pardon on day one.
Yeah,
like the J6ers that didn't do
all the pro-life stuff, all the J6ers, and then these
completely
free
pardoned,
speech,
completely pardoned. And the thing I like about this though is, this is lawfare, the weaponization of government against the American people. And again, Trump has been through this. I mean, how many times? I mean, he got. How many criminal charges were brought against him?
They got 34 counts and all this dumb stuff.
But it's been weaponized against him, so it's personal for him.
Right.
And every single political prisoner that he frees is sort of like is a finger at at
the previous administration.
That did that to him. Yeah. And so I'll be very surprised if he doesn't do.
He's going to do something.
He's got to do something significant here.
All right, number 10. Stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. That's kind of related to his immigration policies, obviously.
But particularly on crime.
But particularly on crime, that's right. Number 11, rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful. Again, of course, San Francisco doesn't rebuild their cities until the communist President Xi comes and visits San Francisco, right?
Yeah, the president of China came in and suddenly
San Francisco's clean.
They're like, like all the, what was the thing? Don't they have like an app about all like
the poop on the sidewalk?
Poop app?
Poop app. Yep, they had that. But remember,
homeless people?
When that story broke and they started cleaning up San Francisco again, like the San Francisco representative spokesperson said, "Oh yeah, we've had this money the whole time to clean up. We're just now doing it. We're just now using that money
for the president of China.
Yeah, for the president of China.
For the commies.
Crazy.
We clean up for the commies.
Number 11. I already did that one. Number 12, strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world.
Like kicking out all the trannies.
Yep, that's how you strengthen it.
Yeah,
you don't need to.
Yeah. And the pregnant ladies.
Yeah,
like let them be home, please.
Yeah,
let them make babies.
That's right. Make a new military.
Yeah,
a different military at home.
For real. Yeah.
The one question I'd have about this, Toby, the prohibition in kings for kings not to increase gold, guns, and girls. Right.
It's in Deuteronomy.
The Deuteronomy.
Yeah.
It was in excuse me. Yes. Yeah. Then it was for the kings in Deuteronomy.
Solomon totally disobeys it in 1 Kings.
That's right.
So, that's right.
And fulfilling Samuel's prophecy about it, right?
Yeah. No.
So I don't know. Just thinking about should a president be?
I think there's a difference between having a strong military. Which is what we need. Like right now, we've been in the process of totally weakening our military.
Yeah,
I mean, between the politicization of the generals, with their, pushing a vaccine, an experimental vaccine, pushing, homosexuality, LGBT, feminism, DEI policies, all this stuff. I mean, that is a weakening of the military. Yeah. So I think the initial strengthening of the military is simply we've got to completely repeal all that stuff.
Yeah.
We've got to clean house.
Yeah, make the military holy again, basically.
Just make the military just strong. Make it reasonable. So I think that's the initial thing. But yes, is there a place in which you're adding to your military just to flex in front of the mirror?
Yeah, right.
Yes,
yeah.
There is a limit there, and I don't know what that line is, but we need.
It'd be a good conversation to have. What does that look like?
We need wise and godly men who say, okay, this is just flexing in front of the mirror. This is just being, think of David's census. Remember that? It's that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
When he's at the height of his strength and power, and even bloody Joab, is like, I don't think this is a good idea, King. And
so he kind of went out and did a half-assed job on it or something, and didn't finish it.
Yeah, but Joab even knew, I think that God's not going to take this well. And David was like, no, do it. But it was conceited. It was arrogant.
Yeah,
it was again, just
because there had been census in Israel before.
Yeah.
They counted. In fact, when they left Egypt, everyone was counted.
Right. It was doing a touchdown dance that was way beyond just I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I think there is a line there. I think it's Deuteronomy 17 that prohibits that, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And so we definitely need to have a line there. But I think right now we're just trying to get rid of, let's get rid of the sodomites. Let's get rid of the trannies. Let's actually have a strong, healthy.
Let's make the military think clearly again.
Yeah,
and you can't do that when you're in trans world.
Yeah.
Number 13, keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency.
That'd be interesting to see how he does that.
I've got hardly any Bitcoin, but my Bitcoin
is soaring.
Soared significantly as soon as Trump was obviously won, because he has a big Bitcoin policy he's going to be implementing too.
He does,
and everything. And gold went down, so gold's actually a good time to buy right now. Gold's down because the stock market went up, and it's usually kind of an inverse relationship.
Okay,
but it went down because the stock market went up,
right?
Because everyone was happy and everything. So actually, gold's a good time right now. Number 14, fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes through retirement age. Vivek Vivek was on Tucker Carlson last week, and I tuned into it. And Vivek was talking about how to get rid of all this bloated bureaucracies.
Yeah.
And, he said something like what was it, Department of Commerce or something? One of those departments had 22,000 employees, and he said they need probably 100 or something.
Really?
Yeah. He said some of these bureaucracies are just so overbloated.
Right.
And he said, so what you do, and we don't want to make this personal to anybody,
right? Because
the government broke it, we need to fix it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he said, so what you do is you lay off, the 20,000 or whatever, and you just give them a year stipend, a year severance. That's better than the private market.
Yeah.
and so you give them tons of time to figure things out,
Right.
and make it as easy for them as possible, and they're losing. And I think that's a great move. It doesn't make it personal,
Right.
and all that stuff. And although you might spend money up front, let's say
it's almost like a little bit of restitution.
Yeah,
we broke this, we screwed this up. Yeah,
I mean, I should have had these numbers here, but let's say there's 100,000 federal employees. There's way more than that.
Yeah.
But let's say you cut 90% that way, and so 90,000, you cut this next year and say, hey, here's a year severance.
Right.
A lot of money. But what happens in year 3, 4, 5, 6, plus all those people are actually going out and being productive and not just taking money out of the economy, which is what government does.
That's right.
So my point is there with this one,
Social Security.
you got to figure this out.
Yeah.
You got to figure out, okay, the people who are on current Social Security, here's your money back plus 20% or something.
Right.
I don't know how to do this. But then the next generation doesn't get it. It's got to be wind down.
Right.
Because imagine if your Social Security was actually in the private market, you would make way more money with that money you've been putting away.
Right. Yeah. At least make maybe one initial step was make it possible to opt out.
That's true.
Just make it a free thing.
That's good. I like that.
Like opt out.
Yeah.
Ministers can actually opt out.
Yep.
I'm allowed. Ministers have a conscientious objection clause, so I've opted out
because basically you're saying I don't want to be taken care of the government. I want to be taken care of by my church.
That's right.
Basically.
Yeah. And so pastors fought for that early on.
Yeah.
And they got it. They won it. But I would say, why can't people just say, you know what? Thanks for the option.
Yeah.
But I'd like to, deal me out.
That's right.
I'm going to invest.
That's that's an easy place to start. I like that.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. All right. Number 15, cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costs and burdensome regulations.
There we go.
This,
there's some of that. That's some of the environmental regulations, probably.
Probably.
Because the electrical vehicle mandate has to do with,
we need X amount of vehicles on the road.
No carbon emissions, all that kind of stuff.
My hunch also is that includes all the money that individuals can get when they buy an electric vehicle. So there's government programs.
Yeah.
So Washington has the big ones.
No, that's totally subsidizing it all.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, why are people putting up stupid windmills?
Yeah.
Because it's a government cash cow.
Yeah.
Because governments...
And the windmills are so inefficient when it comes to producing electricity. No, they don't.
They're not actually producing enough power to make them worth it. Yep. Mm-hmm. And they're ugly. That's one of my most offensive things is they're so ugly. Mm-hmm. It's like we have a rash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a massive rash.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you're driving through California.
Yeah.
They got them everywhere, and they keep putting them up here near us in Washington. Mm-hmm. But they don't work. But that's because the government is propping them up with a bunch of money.
I think we got a video on this one too, but cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children.
Yeah.
So this is kind of an education one, but the bigger deal to me, and I don't know, Jacob or Bree, if we have this one or not, but he's clearly articulated that he wants to shut down the Department of Education.
I want to. Let's hear it.
Is it? No, that's not.
In a period of less than 1 week.
No, that's the military one. Do we have the Department of Education one? Okay.
Gotta find it.
Yeah.
When I'm back in the White House, I will immediately unleash energy production / regulations like I did just.
Yeah, that's the energy one.
That was the energy one.
Yeah. That's all right.
Okay.
Unless
you
don't got it.
And so, but he's clearly said, I want to get rid of the Department of Education, which would be amazing.
Yeah.
Department of Education, remember George Bush doubled it by $200 million budget or something.
Yeah.
And that's where No Child Left Behind came from. Yeah. And that's also the mechanism. Department of Education is the federal department is what's pushed all this DEI that we have through No Child Left Behind George Bush funds into our public schools locally.
That's interesting. So George W. Bush... He doubled the Department of Education.
Yeah, I think it was like $200 million to $400 million, something like that.
And then instituted this No Child Left Behind policy.
That's right.
Which has now been weaponized to force DEI policies in public schools.
That's exactly right.
Let's nuke the Department of Education.
Be gone.
I
would love to ask Trump about the IRS too. That'd be another department. I'm like, Department of Education and IRS would be like.
Well, if income tax is destroyed, doesn't that massively diminish The IRS?
I mean, they can. That's interesting.
Slash it?
That is interesting.
If income tax is gone?
That is interesting. So he might, in a backdoor kind of way.
Because the IRS has also been weaponized.
Oh, yeah.
And Trump knows that.
Obama weaponized the IRS against Tea Party groups.
I know.
Remember that?
Against Tea Party, against Christians, against pro-life organizations, against pregnancy centers. I hope Trump is thinking that way. Like, we're going to.
That's an interesting point.
Then we might gut the IRS.
Okay. Number 17. Keep men out of women's sports.
Yep.
Imagine running for president in 1940s and having this on your website.
Keep men out of women's sports. People would have laughed you.
Yeah.
They would have laughed you off the stage.
Right. But this is one of President Trump's top 20.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is easy. Easy. Number 18, deport. Deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. So this is going after college students who have pro-Hamas, inclinations, and are here in the country, not as citizens, but maybe as some sort of college. Green card or something.
It's actually worth tying that back into number 16, cutting federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, other inappropriate radical racial, social, and political content. I've seen reports that he's thinking about this for colleges too.
Yeah.
So colleges take federal funding, and colleges are pushing this stuff.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure he's planning on going after colleges also.
Yeah.
That's just
clean it up.
I think that's massively important. I know that's what DeSantis has been doing in Florida. DeSantis, in particular in Florida, has mandated where the state has jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Not that the state should have jurisdiction, but nevertheless, to the extent that it does,
right. Same for Fed.
It absolutely should require the states and those who are taking this federal funding or the state funding to actually teach the truth, real history. And not these radical ideologies that are actually trying to destroy Western civilization.
One of our listeners over on YouTube said, ending the Department of Education used to be in the Republican Party's platform.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. Well,
goodness.
No.
All right. Number 19.
19.
Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. So this is a real possibility. Because what the federal government has the ability to do is to regulate federal elections.
Right. They cannot regulate state elections.
That's right.
But they can set certain regulations on federal elections.
That's right. So days, whatever.
Yeah.
So basically all you need to do is require voter ID, same day counting,
paper ballots.
And then here's actually what did I tell you I went into to vote a couple weeks ago, and I did early voting.
Yeah, I did too.
Filled out my dot, filled out my circles, and then went over to the electric machine and inserted my ballot in the machine. And then I asked the person standing there, the poll watcher standing there, I was like, "Do I get a receipt and verify who the machine counted me for?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Well, how do I know it counted my vote correctly. Tallied it correctly." Yeah. And the poll watcher calls the other poll watcher over and says, and I asked the same question. I was like, "I don't get a receipt for who I voted for, so I know it counted what I wanted to count." Yeah. And the guy was like, "No." And I was like, "So I'm like, I have to trust the machine?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I guess." That was the answer.
Wow.
So it's so my point is actually, first of all, McDonald's give me a receipt. Why can't my voting machine not give me a receipt? Come on now, right?
For real.
But I think a good way to go would be to actually do machine and hand count. So you actually have kind of a check and balance way of tallying. You get a quick count from the machine, and then you do a hand count. Yeah. So you get both.
Okay.
And I to me that actually makes a lot of sense to do both. Why not?
Yeah. I love same day.
Yeah.
Voter ID.
Yeah.
It's required in a number of states, voter ID,
yeah.
like in Idaho, for example,
but not in the liberal states that Kamala won,
but not in the blue states. Yeah. And then paper ballots, same day voting. I think all of that makes really good sense.
Yeah. Lastly, number 20, and we'll end here. Unite our country by bringing in new and record levels of success. But now, while this
such a Trumpian
Trumpian
new and record levels of success.
One of the things he has on his agenda, which I think this just gets my funny bone in a whole way. I mean, he's going to throw in 2026 is our nation's 250th birthday.
2026, yeah.
Our nation's 250. He's wanting to throw a big year-long party, and I'm gonna let him talk about it.
3 years from now, the United States will celebrate the biggest and most important milestone in our country's history. 250 years of American independence. What a great country. And we have to keep it that way. But that's why, as a nation, we should be preparing for a most spectacular birthday party. We want to make it the best of all time. Here is my plan to give America's founding in 1776 the incredible anniversary it truly deserves. On day one, I will convene a White House task force called Salute to America 250. It will be responsible for coordinating with state and local governments to ensure not just one day of celebration, but an entire year of festivities across the nation, starting on Memorial Day 2025 and continuing through July 4th, 2026.
What?
Second, I will work with all 50 governors, Republican and Democrat alike, to create the Great American State Fair, a unique one-year exhibition featuring pavilions from all 50 states. It'll be something. Yeah. The Great American State Fair will showcase the glory of every state in the Union, promote pride in our history, and put forth innovative visions for America's future. My hope is that the amazing people of Iowa will work with my administration to open up the legendary Iowa State Fairgrounds to host the Great American State Fair and welcome millions and millions of visitors from around the world to the heartland of America for this special one-time festival. Together we will build it and they will come. Third, alongside the Great American State Fair, we will host major sporting contests for high school athletes. These are great athletes, wonderful athletes from fantastic high schools all around the country. These Patriot Games will allow young Americans from every state to show off the best of American skills, sportsmanship, and competitive spirit. Fourth, I will sign an executive order to bring back our National Garden of American Heroes, which we want to build very badly. Commission artists for the first 100 statues to populate this new statuary park honoring the greatest Americans of all time. Fifth, as president, I will invite the leaders and citizens of nations around the world to visit the United States in honor of our 250th anniversary. It's going to be great. America's tourist industry should get ready because we're going to have a lot of people coming. It will be a record year. And finally, and most importantly, I will ask America's great religious communities to pray for our nation and our people as we prepare for this momentous occasion. From the very beginning, America has been a country sustained and strengthened by prayer and by our communities of faith. As we chart a course toward the next 250 years, let us come together and rededicate ourselves as one nation under God. Thank you.
There you go.
Wow. That's interesting.
A year-long party starting Memorial Day 2025. So that's just 5 months into his administration. Yeah. 4 months, 5 months. And going all the way through July 4th, 2026.
Yeah, all the way up to the actual 250th birthday.
And so I think this is interesting because I think it's actually going to do a couple things. For one, it's a celebration of our country, and I think it's going to unite people in a way that just kind of American apple pie uniting.
Right. Generic stuff.
Yeah. Secondly, this actually might help J.D. Vance coming up in the election.
Interesting.
Because that's still 2 years off of that.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
It's a great way to energize Americans.
Right.
And kind of bring that apple pie unity, that kind of American apple pie unity.
Right.
And so you have 2026 is going to be our next congressional election.
That's true.
That's 2 years. And then J.D. Vance and so there's because our history's been so our American history battle in this last 4 years, 8 years.
Well, they've been tearing down
with
statues.
tearing down statutes, and now you're going to turn it into a positive thing,
right? And we're going to start building statues.
That's right.
And it's all about American heritage. I mean,
that's right.
There's going to be a lot of battle over what is the American heritage.
Yeah, but it's going to be drowned out.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be like a big positive celebration.
Yeah, but I mean, even within conservatism to some extent. Sure, I mean, will they let us have a statue of Stonewall Jackson?
Yeah.
Will they let us have a statue? I mean, I'm Abe Lincoln's in there, but what about Robert E. Lee?
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, there's got to be there's going to be some scuffle in the back rooms over that. But I do. I mean, I hope. I absolutely hope. I mean, I think this is the kind of thing that can bring people together, even who disagree.
Yeah.
But who say, if we're going to celebrate Abe Lincoln, then at least give us Stonewall Jackson.
That's right.
If we're gonna celebrate these people, let's celebrate all of them.
Yeah.
As Americans. That's really interesting.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
All right, y'all. If you're single, get married. If you're married, have kids. If you have kids, go baptize them until tomorrow. Love God with all your whole heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbors yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politic, and thank you for tuning in.